Alrighty, take it away. Yeah, take it away, commissioners. I think the protocol is at the beginning of a reorganization meeting, that the commissioner with who has served the longest, is the dean of the body. And I would recommend that he open it up.
Okay.
Oh, and we're ready to go when you are.
Okay. Thank everyone for attending the January 6th, 2021 Norfolk County Commissioners meeting. It was usually these take place at 1 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon, but with the swearing in of Commissioner Joe Shea and Commissioner Richard Stady, we had to move this to 2 o'clock. So as longest serving county commissioner, I'm just going to kick off the meeting. I'd like to note that this is a Zoom meeting based upon the executive order of remote participation. Back on March 12, 2020, Governor Baker issued an order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. And that order was effective immediately until it is rescinded or the state of emergency is terminated. As it hasn't been rescinded, we are doing a Zoom meeting today. So I'd like to do the call to order. And Commissioner Shea, are you present?
Present.
Commissioner Stady, are you present?
I am present.
So at this time, we have to have a reorganization of the board. I can step down and make the motion, or you can make the motion, Dick, as to how you'd want to do this.
I move that nominations be open now for the position of chair of Norfolk County Commissioner.
Okay, is there anyone that you would like to nominate?
I would move the nomination. Well, okay. Do we just have to second that, or we just nominations are open? That's
I'll
fine.
second it.
Okay, thank you. All right. So with that, Mr. Commissioner Collins, I would move that Joseph Shea be nominated for chairperson of the county commissioners.
I'll second that motion, and it should be a roll call vote. So commissioners, any other nominations? Okay, so Commissioner Stady, if you'd like to make that motion, yes, on the record.
Yes, I vote for Commissioner Shea.
All right, I also vote for Commissioner Shea. Commissioner Shea, do you want to vote for yourself?
I'll vote for Commissioner Shea.
Okay, so the board has been reorganized, and you are now the chairman. So it's your meeting, Commissioner Shea.
Thank you. At the outset, other than saying thank you, let me ask you this. And Mike, Director Mullen referred to it at the outset. Peter, in your past history, is it just been protocol that in the absence of the chairman, the senior man runs the meeting?
No.
Does it matter? I just don't know. We don't have a vice chair. I just want to make that a rule, or not a rule, but understood among the three of us. That's all.
No, it's never been. There's never been a rule, and there's never been an informal rule. In fact, on many occasions, I think I've asked Commissioner Shea to run a meeting when Commissioner O'Brien was unavailable. So I think for the purposes of just the first meeting of the year, where there was no chairman, I think that was why, as the longest serving member, that's why I was asked to start the meeting.
Okay, that's fine. Then I don't want to establish one if we haven't had it before. So it's at the whim of the other two commissioners if the chairman is absent. That's fine. I don't wish to change it. What do you think, Richard?
I just wanted to ask you, because again, I've been on boards with select board where you have a chair, vice chair, and clerk, but you don't do that, right? You don't have that in place.
Right.
You just
Right. We don't do it for purposes of meeting. Phil takes the minutes.
okay.
And in the absence of a commissioner, for voting purposes or important matters, the clerk of Superior Court sits in as the third commissioner.
Oh, okay.
Now, having said that,
yeah,
on occasion when we come down to, and this only happened once in the last 5 years that I'm aware of, when we come down to the meeting and we're short 3 commissioners, we have the ability to appoint someone from the county to sit in. It used to be Frank Haggerty, the one time we did it since Frank left, we appointed Bill Buckley because he's a resident of the, but that is in there, and I've noticed, reading minutes from way back, they would replace people for one day,
Okay.
going way back, but I don't want to change any of that, I'm
Nope,
just,
I don't either. I was just asking, that's all.
No. but if,
Yeah, we've been doing that for
Reference.
all the time that I've been in office, we've been doing that.
Okay,
okay,
why change a good thing? That's good.
that's correct, I agree.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. I've held many positions. This isn't one that I campaigned or sought, but I'm happy to do it. I think having served one term was an eye-opening experience. And I'm committed to not a lot of changes. I'm committed to things I talked about in the campaign. Greater transparency. And when I say greater transparency, I'm just talking about updating our website for one, making doubly sure that cities and towns are informed of all of our activities, number two. Making the budget more readable and user-friendly, number three. And I'm also committed to the best practice study that, although I've spoken to them once in the kickoff, I haven't seen them since, but I do know that they're out there working, and I'm very interested in working hard over the next 3 or 4 months. Hopefully we can have that completed, that it'll be some help in the budget cycle. And I'm committed to seeing through the issues at the agricultural school, which have grown exponentially this year now that we've got to make some command decisions about solar, and I think the calendar is going to take care of that in the very first quarter of this year. So that's my short-term goal. So, and I really appreciate the staff, and I like working with everyone. So there isn't anything here that we can't do with a little more communication. That's all. But everyone is different, and I'm easy to talk to, and I'm anxious to hear from everyone. So having said that, let's go through this agenda. It seems fairly straightforward today. We do have an executive request at the end relative to negotiations with the AFSCME workers relative to COVID protocol. So I'll go right to item number 4. We have a motion to accept. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes of the December 30th meeting?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
I can second, I must abstain since I wasn't part of it, but I will
Okay,
second.
that's great. All in favor of accepting the open session minutes from December 30th meeting?
Aye.
Just note as abstain, that's all.
Yes.
And
Please.
one abstention.
Right.
That'll be your last abstention.
Okay, wow.
No more.
Public,
Pressure's on.
public comment. Mr. Director, have you heard from anyone who is interested in the public comment section?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Number 6, facility and maintenance report and Corona update. John McGowan, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, and congratulations,
John.
Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Congratulations, Dick.
Thank you, Sean.
Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
I don't have much to say about on the facilities report, but I worked in Stoughton Court Saturday. I got a call to go down there and disinfect the building. Somebody come down with the virus down there or came in contact with it. I'm not sure which, but we had a deep clean the whole building, which involves wiping every phone, every computer, everything. We do the chairs, we do the desks, we do everything, and then we spray it. And it come out fairly. I think it worked out good, but there was some issues down there with the plexiglass that I am having Joe install, and he's fabricating it now. There was one courtroom there that when he was down there doing it, somebody mentioned to him that they didn't want it done. And we have all the courtrooms completed down there. And I don't think it's in our interest not to do the last one, because I don't want them coming up, 4 or 5 months from now and saying, how come this courtroom wasn't done? Because one person didn't want it done. And it could have been a judge. I don't know. I asked Joe who it was, but he didn't know. But I'm having it done anyway, because these judges, they come here and they're here for a while, and 6 months or 7 months assignments, and then they're off, and then the new judge will come in and they want certain things done too. So I think it's in the best interest of us, the county, to have that courtroom completed. And I have them in the process of doing that now. And I'll keep you informed on that, and I think that'll be the last one that we have to do. And the only thing we're working on now are the cubicles. Like I said to you before, that in the last meeting, that there's we got these clips that go on the cubicles, and they have to be installed that separate the secretaries from each other in close proximity to each other, and it makes them feel safer, and it is safer too. But that's what I got going right now. Other than that, I don't have anything else. If you have any questions, I hope I can answer them. That's
Any
about
questions?
It's
Commissioner
just, John,
Collins?
I know we had a problem with Stoughton Court on the air circulation. Has that process begun now, the installation? I caught that, when I wasn't a commissioner, but I know Mike talked about it. Have we started the installation of the?
Not yet, Commissioner. We're in the process of, we have an engineered.
Yep.
And we had that engineer there this week. I think he was there Monday.
Okay.
And it's a little time consuming, because they have to engineer it and see if we can duplicate what's up there. I believe would be the best way to do it, but
Yep.
I don't know how the engineer is, what process he's doing, if he's making new drawings or what. I'm not sure yet. And
Okay.
but we are working on it.
Yeah, well, keep us
And
posted.
I got
That's a good one.
Mike, the director, delivered some fresh air machines today, and I think there's one down there in Stoughton Court already, but we've got 3 of them today, thanks to the director, and I installed them. We put one up in the grand jury room, and Mike Morrissey already had one up there, so there's 2 up there, and I believe the volume of capacity for them would be sufficient for that room that they're in. And we put 2 over in Superior.
Great.
And so I think we're ahead of the game there. I'd love to get some more, because I think that's the way to go with these buildings that aren't equipped with fresh air intakes, which are the older buildings. And Superior is the main one. That's the one that doesn't have hardly any. But with looking at doing something with the old ductwork that's in Superior Courthouse that was originally used for heat, I think that we might be able to, I'm looking into it anyway, might be able to adapt putting in some fresh air intakes in there.
Well,
But
that's
that's
great.
down the road.
Yeah, maybe forward that request in writing to the director, and we can discuss it, and maybe that might be another possible alternative, as you're suggesting. And we probably can get some reimbursement, but those are good ideas. Thank you.
Yep.
Good.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep, thank you.
Commissioner Collins, any comment?
All set. Nice job, John.
Okay.
Thank you.
John, as far as someone not wanting to have well, in this case, the spraying, all of us have experienced in the last year, I'm sure, offbeat comments, which people are entitled to. A lot of people don't like masks, a lot of people don't like this, but we are struggling, and we're in the middle of trying to come up with one policy, as you well know,
Yes.
just for this purpose, because we can't treat the Stoughton Court any different than the Quincy Court or the Dedham Court or the Brookline Court, and we are, multi-jurisdictional, and it's funny, but it's difficult. But that's the exact reason that we're trying to come up with one policy. So, in deference to everyone, even if the objector is a judge. We've got to treat everyone the same, because
Yes, we
the
do.
worst thing you want is something more to happen, and then they'll come back and say, well, why didn't you didn't spray this particular cubicle, et cetera, et cetera. Again,
Right.
it isn't that I don't understand it, I do, but I know we're getting ready to negotiate with your union people about, some people don't want to follow the policy of getting tested, others do. Well, we got to take the bull by the horns here, and, I
Well,
know
see,
it's a
some of
tough
the,
call, but
like
we got to come up with one policy and stick to it.
I've instructed all my employees to wear masks.
Correct.
And at the time, I just told them to do it. It was a verbal instruction, but then there were incidents where they weren't wearing them. They were walking up to people, women that were sitting at the desk, and they're going over to pick up their trash, and the women are understandably scared. And so I had to tell them verbally again. And there was only a certain amount of, few guys that, didn't want to wear the mask. So
Correct.
what I did was I put it in writing that if you're caught not wearing your mask, you'll get suspended for a week without pay. And now they all wear masks. It's funny how you can turn them around a little bit, which is, it's not for just their safety, it's for the people that are around them. I had calls from people over in Superior saying, your men are coming, walking up here and down the hallway with no mask on, and, they're afraid, rightfully so. So we can't have our employees causing problems like that. And I don't think it'd be a union issue either.
Well,
I hope it's
not, and I hope we can try in a very, very near future, bring a uniform policy to everyone and then promulgate it throughout the county.
Well, that's a safety issue. You can't go against a safety issue. I don't know of a union that would do that. Maybe I haven't run into one yet, but
it's
that's
amazing.
the priority is the safety of
Correct.
everybody.
Correct. But we, well, I mentioned these other outlying towns only because what happens in Quincy may not be happening in Brookline, et cetera.
That's
And
true.
It really should be. You notice, I've had occasion with you and others. You notice when you go into a courthouse now, you go through a whole screening, signing your life away, wash your hands, but they had to do it, and that's fine. Everyone's got to get used to it. I'm sure. So we're in the same boat, but it's getting better. But unfortunately, it's a
Well, I've
subject that we have to keep on.
instituted taking their temperatures too. I take their temperatures when they come into work in the morning, and John does it at night. And it's no big deal. They do it when you walk in the courtroom. The court officer will come over to you, and it's not like you're sticking a needle in you. It's harmless. But it's something that has to be done. It's part of the procedure, and they can't object to that. And it wouldn't do them any good with me if they did.
Okay. All right, last
I'll follow
call.
any direction that you give me. If you give me the protocols, I'll follow them.
Well, we hope to have a uniform policy very, very soon. And not so much on the maintenance side, but for our employees, but it'll encompass everything.
Good. That'll be great. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Number 7, I don't see any outside appointments on the calendar, so we'll go to number 8, old business. Last week, we received our basic financial statement and management letter from our independent auditor for our review. I read it. Did the other commissioners have time to take a look at it? It was pretty straightforward. It's pretty similar to other years. We've got one more to go. That was 19, and we're waiting on 20. Is that correct, Director Mullen?
Yes, it is. As soon as 19 is approved, we can decide on 20.
but you're ready to approve 19 today. far as you're
Yes, and
concerned.
a lot of the issues that were identified in the 19 audit, as you mentioned, were identified in FY 18 as well. Like, and a lot of those issues are being dealt with by the Abrahams Group.
And they'll certainly be forwarded a copy of both of these. In case it'll be the
Yes, and they
19.
already have them as well.
Do you want a
Okay.
motion to
Well,
adopt
if you're ready, commissioners, let's put this one aside. Let's put this one to bed because, again, we've kicked it upstairs, so to speak. It isn't the end of it. We do need to address what it says in the management letter as best we can, and you know, this is ongoing. I may mention for everyone's edification, our outside auditor, our independent auditor has changed. This is the culmination of our contract with this group, and we did hire a new group, an experienced group, starting next for 2021. So,
Okay, I'll make a
additionally
motion.
outside. Okay.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to adopt Norfolk County FY19 basic financial statements and management discussion and analysis with independent auditors report and management letter for our approval. So I'll make a motion that we approve this.
Do I have a second?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, through you, I'll second. I just want to emphasize there are some issues. I think the director mentioned that there seems to be some recurring things that are targeted or highlighted in the executive summary. So I suppose what we're going to be doing, as you said, we're kicking it upstairs. We'll look at the Abrahams report, and then at some point, hopefully, we'll work towards resolution. You know, in terms
Correct. And I mean, I believe that we intend to bring in department heads in and go over each
Okay.
one. But the 20 is almost right behind it,
I
right?
know. Okay, yes,
So
sir.
we're going to treat them together and then kick off with the best practices involved already, and then a new outside auditor firm.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr.
Hey,
Chairman.
Dick, I know that you weren't in on this, but when we met with the finance committee before we agreed to do the best practice audit,
Yes.
we were talking about it amongst the finance committee and the commissioners. And I said to the finance committee, because it was like $55,000 for this audit. And I said, look, we believe in a best practice audit, but I will say this, that unless the finance committee is ready to stand behind the best practice audit and implement the audit to the best of our ability, don't waste the money. And they came back with 100% support of moving forward with the best practice audit with that in mind. So that was our mindset. That was the finance committee's mindset. So this is just taking care of 2019, but our goal moving forward is to use the best practice.
Okay, great. Excellent. Thank you. Fine. Okay, so I
Okay.
seconded the motion.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor of the
Aye.
review and approval? Aye. That's unanimous.
Aye. Yep.
Thank you. We have some personnel matters for consideration. Most of them deal with 13 notices of resignations and rate adjustments for student workers at the Aggie School. So if I could entertain a motion to accept all 13 of these. Again, 1, 2, 3 resignations and 10 are adjustments for the student workers at the agricultural school. If you have any questions, Rick and Tammy are on the line, commissioners.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second. I guess, again, forgive me, I'm a new guy and I'm just trying to clarify and wrap my head around it. Is this through you, Mr. Chairman, through you?
Yes.
My question would be twofold. This seems like a high number. Is this normal for this time of year or this particular institution? It seems like a lot of people are going up and down and leaving. And could you clarify student worker, what that means? Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the rate adjustment, Dick, is the minimum wage bumped up. So I think they're bumping it up for that.
Okay. What about the
We have,
resignation?
we have a number of regular and full-time employees, but we also have some student employees, mainly all at the Aggie School, or part-time employees, mainly all at the Aggie School.
Okay.
In an effort to get our arms around everything goes through the school and then comes to our office, and Michelle takes care of it. And you see these, you're going to see these blue papers. Way back when I worked at the MBTA, they were called performs, but
Okay.
we've named them blue papers. And we don't do anything without a current blue paper. So we have sign off on that. And there's two more there's two more on here today too, but they're at the registry. So I'm going to take a separate vote on that.
That
These are
clarifies
pretty
that.
standard.
Okay.
Again, any question to Rick, and Rick's on if you need to hear more. How many student workers we got, Rick? Approximately. Go ahead.
10 to 12 student workers.
Okay,
Split their duties between doing chores on the farm and actually assisting foremen. Housekeeping, just taking students that had been on the records. Once they graduate, some of those students come back and work the summer following their graduation. But that we're turning the resignations in for, and then just maintaining, as Commissioner Collins said, when the minimum wage increases, typically what we do is then initiate for those. They get paid, just for everybody's information, they get paid on a scale according to their grade. So a senior, for instance, would be $1 an hour, and so on. So, and again, it's based on the evaluation of the supervisor as well. So it's all paperwork that's done that recommends that for that increase. No longer on the records.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
thank you, Rick. So I'll take a motion in a second on those 13, all at the Aggie School. All in favor? Well, wait a minute, I need a motion first. I'm sorry.
No, I did the motion. Dick's did the second already.
Okay.
We're all
All in favor of these wage adjustments and resignation of some student workers at the Aggie School? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. The second part of personnel decisions today are a notice of a resignation of the Director of Administrative Services at the Registry of Deeds, effective January 15th, 2021, and the notice of appointment of a new Director of Administrative Services, effective 1/19/21. Again, this is pretty straightforward. It's one employee is leaving, and the Register has submitted the blue papers to hire a replacement, well, a new, let me say, a new Director of Administrative Services. Pretty straightforward. I need a motion, please. Any discussion and a motion?
I'm all set. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to grant the resignation of one employee, and we'll send him a letter of congratulations, hopefully, and then the notice of a second one, all to be concluded by January 19th, 2021. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, number 10, payroll and expense warrants. Have you got one there, Peter? I've got one if you want me to.
Yeah, I'm grabbing it.
Okay. Commissioner Stady, every meeting we vote on some payroll and expense warrants. It's pretty straightforward. In your packet, you'll see it outlined. Today's are two. Let me read them into the record.
Okay.
It's a county weekly payroll, 21-27, in the amount of $137,332.57. And the second one is county expense warrant 010121 in the amount of $70,591.33. Again, straightforward, and you'll generally see that on every one of your packages
Got
that
it.
you will receive.
Okay, I see it. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
We
Need a
have a
motion to
motion.
approve?
Thank you. Seconded.
Yeah.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 3-0. Number 11, we have no bids today. Number 12, no contracts today. Number 13, the November trial balance for our approval. Director Mullen.
Yes, and thank you, Chairman. As you mentioned, you do have the November trial balance for your review and approval. Like in going through it, you can actually see our expense, exactly how we've been trending in expenses through the month of November. Are actually in line where we should be. And actually a lot of our revenues are ahead of projection as well. and that is helpful. But overall, we're in very decent shape. Like actually at this point through the month of November, it's 5 months in the first, in the first 5 months of the fiscal year, and hoping that the remaining 7 are just as good.
Okay. Any question on the November trial balances? It's always nice to see them.
No
especially with
questions, I'll
COVID
make the motion.
Going forward. We have a second.
Second?
Okay, all in favor of accepting the November trial balances as submitted?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 3-0. Report of the county director. Director
Yes.
Mullen.
Yes, and thank you again, Chairman. Before I begin, I just really want to thank Bill Buckley and the maintenance, and John and his whole crew for their efforts in the swearing-in ceremony. I think in terms of a pandemic, and also making sure we, we're able to have a very meaningful event. For the commissioners and the folks who were sworn in. I think we all agree that it was, something really special. And I just want to thank Bill and the maintenance whole department and John McGowan as well. In addition to Clerk Kimmelty and Mary Hickey for their work with us as well. You'll also see we have a thank you letter from the Walpole Trails Committee.
You see it. Would you like to report it on the record?
Yeah, if you want to read it, I think it's a really nice letter, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we'll read it. For everyone's edification, I'm looking at, and it's in your packet, Commissioners, the Town of Walpole Trails Commission. Walpole Town Hall, 135 School Street, Walpole, Mass. Address to the Commissioners dated January 4th. Dear Commissioners, we are writing with our thanks for allowing the Walpole Trails Committee to host its 3rd annual first day hike at the Aggie School. Turnout was impressive. We estimate more than 150 families and individuals hiked the 3-mile round trip to the backwoods, and an additional 100 bikers visited during the long weekend, including Boy Scout Troop 42 of Quincy, which traveled to Walpole to hike the Aggie on Sunday. This was in addition to the hundreds who hiked at other properties in Walpole, including the Jarvis Farm and the Adams Farm. A total of 500 on New Year's Day, 2021, all within COVID guidelines and in consultation with the Walpole Health Department. The best part of this event was hearing how many of these people have never visited your property before. Sharing the jewel of Norfolk County in this way is one of the reasons our committee was formed. We'd like to thank Rick Fitzpatrick, the Aggie business manager, for working closely with us to make this happen. Rick made sure we understood the campus rules. It was great to deal with. Wishing you all a healthy, happy, and rewarding New Year's. This is signed by the Trails Committee. Gary Rickott, Chairman, Glenn Maffey, Vice Chairman, Mike Brennan, Sandra Maller, Virginia Ryan, and Greg Campbell. Again, this is the Walpole Trails Committee. For the record.
So
Thank
that is it. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just actually also want to mention, actually 2 other updates in terms of the FY22 budget. Here in the county, actually beginning next week, I hope to bring forward to the commissioners a timeline. And also expectations in terms of department budgets. In the whole process with budget hearings as well. And additionally, I will note that there was a public notice actually posted on our website, the county website, in the Aggie website. Additionally, as well, as outside both of meetings, both the commissioners and the trustees will be meeting next week on Friday. In the purposes of both meetings will be to consider a solar contract. like with KSI, Jenny, yeah, like in the purpose of the, yeah, like in the purpose of the meeting will be to consider a, I'm sorry, like a contract with Kearsarge, like on Hilltop Farm in Walpole. Like, and as I mentioned, everything has been posted and it's up on our website as well. And with that, Mr. Chairman, that is actually all I have today.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions of Mike or anything up till this point you want to discuss? Before we move on? Okay,
I thought we had wasn't there the CARES Act reimbursement request?
correct, that's,
Mike,
I have it
is
here
that
in
the
front of me.
next one?
Mike, why don't you explain this? I was going to bring it up under the next subject, things that we didn't reasonably anticipate, but we just received it. But I'll ask Mike, it's in your packet. Actually, it's dated today with a note from Mike, and then it was dated yesterday from some folks at the state. But why don't you review it for us, Mike?
Yes, as I mentioned in an update last evening, and then like actually in an email earlier today, we are moving forward and the state is working with us. Actually in processing the $249,000 in CARES Act reimbursements that we've been working on getting. Like actually last night I did receive the contract documents from A&F. Like, and things are moving forward. And at this point, because like actually the second supplemental budget approved by the advisory board, like at the beginning of last month, you know, that whole budget was actually about half of the budget was really contingent on the funding. Like, and I would just ask if the commissioners would be able to authorize me to sign.
I'll make the motion that we authorize Michael Mullen to sign on behalf of the commissioners to allow the processing of the CARE Act reimbursement request.
Second.
All in favor of authorizing Director Mullen to sign as it relates to the reimbursement from the CARES Act from the Department of Revenue? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you can sign away, Mike. I'm waiting anxiously for the check, but
Yes.
you know that.
Yes,
I
we all.
think I'm very confident. I mean, Commissioner Stady, we got some, you may have been privy to the meeting where we got a very nice letter from them saying they were very impressed with our submittal, and it was very readable, very understandable, and that's a credit to the staff, Nancy included, that kept good records. So it only helps get the reimbursement, but we're very close here.
Great.
And hopefully there'll be more.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, before we go into executive session, is there any other topic that commissioners need can't wait till next week?
If I may, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
it's my
Yes,
first meeting very
Commissioner.
quickly.
Of
I know
course.
we have a lot to do, and we know already how much there is each week to take care of. I just want to make sure that, you know, publicly, I'm very pleased and honored to be working with you and Commissioner Collins. I want to signal out, in fact, Bill Buckley, Peter, and maintenance, everybody else who put together a very fine day. It was a really enjoyable day for my family and friends and for all of us, despite the conditions of COVID. I want to emphasize, too, that I hope in working with you and Peter Collins, we can continue to work hard, be a little bit innovative, a little bit more imaginative, think a little differently, and question things as best we can. We want to continue doing that. I think we've gone a long way. I saw on the campaign trail, Joe, you saw questions about the commissioners being transparent. I think that's long gone. That's foolishness. Anyone who says that now is not really paying attention, because we are out there. But we want to continue doing that. We want to continue working hard and looking at some big issues. Two of the things I want to keep working on is this solar project in and around the county. And I think I want to also see if there's other ways we can promote regionalization. So we'll talk more about that later.
Right.
I don't want to belabor the point. Great to be here. Welcome aboard. Thank you, everybody, for making me feel welcome, and roll up our sleeves. We're ready to get to work. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. As I said at the outset, I mean, Transparency, that was a buzzword this year. There's no question about it. When I talked about it to the staff and even Commissioner Collins and a few others, I went back and talked to Frank. Our website could be better, and we're working on a new website. And yes, could we make our budget documents more readable? Yes, we're gonna do that. But they were on there for a good long time, and people would call up and say, mail me a copy of budget. I can't see it on the web, etc. It was there, but so where it's necessary, we're happy to look at it, and we're gonna make changes. Originally, a lot of these things, they cost money. A new website's gonna cost money. So we got a few more years out of it than maybe we should have, but you're gonna see new and improved visual aids and other things because A, they were needed, but B, we were forced into a lot of this by COVID, let's be honest, and we're learning too, but it's going good.
Mhm.
People are now saying, gee, I watched your I watched your meeting, which I never did before, et cetera, et cetera. So, we've opened the door, we can only strengthen it and get better, but I agree with you. Okay, we are, for the public's edification, going to now take a motion to go into executive session for purposes of discussing an issue that needs to be collectively bargained. And I do not expect, we're going to come back for purposes of adjournment only. We're not going to take any more business after the executive session, but I will need a
You
motion.
want to make the formal motion, Joe?
Yes, please, Peter.
All right, I make a motion that we move into executive session pursuant to purpose 3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, specifically ASME Council 93 Local 2417 Registry Engineering and Maintenance Units. If the chair declares that an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the commissioners. The commissioners would then return to open session solely for the purposes of adjournment.
On going into executive session, do I have a second?
Yes, second. So are we going back into open or are we not going to go
We're going to
back?
come back just for adjournment purposes.
Okay,
So
thank you. Okay, second
takes 1
motion.
minute.
Yep, second.
All in favor?
You need a
Aye.
roll call, Joe, you need a roll call vote on
I'm
this.
sorry.
All right,
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Stady,
yes.
and Chairman Shea will vote yes. It's 3-0. So if you're not going to be in the executive session, it's nice to speak to everyone today, and we'll see you next week. I do believe our legal counsel is going to be with us. I see her here. Anyone else, Mike, during the regular meeting?
So moved. Oh, okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Right, Peter.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, take care.
Good
Talk to you
job,
soon.
Dave.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.